Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we're back with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us from the road on tour. We have Ashley Wineland. How's it going?
It's going good. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, absolutely. We tried to do this, I think more towards the end of May, right around the release of your new single, Crank It Up. But, some weather wasn't having it. And then I was on a trip up to Nashville. I went to CMA Fest and I was like, I ain't gonna be able to do anything there. So luckily
Life's
we
been a
got you
little
in.
crazy in that regard then, but hey,
Right.
I was glad we were able to reschedule.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So you're originally from Arizona. What was it like growing up in Arizona?
Honestly, I loved it. I always classify myself as a desert rat. My body enjoys the heat and stuff, but I love being out in the desert. I think it's beautiful. There's so much to do. I know a lot of people just think it's, a big old slab of dead land and everything, but there's so much beauty and diversity to Arizona. You could go 2 hours north of the valley and be in pine trees and
Mm.
all different sorts of stuff. So I definitely feel like I had a very rich childhood growing up in Arizona.
Nice, nice. I lived out in New Mexico for about 4 years, and we'd go out to
Okay.
Arizona all the time, mainly like Phoenix, Tucson, because that was like
Right.
the easiest trip to make. But every once in a while, I'd go up north and up into like the northern end of the Grand Canyon and stuff like that, and that was always really cool areas. So,
Yeah, no, it's lovely up there. And to your point from New Mexico, you just hop on the 10 and you ride it
yep,
on into town and it's all right there.
yep. It was always a fun trip, and I like you. I enjoy. It took me a little bit to get used to that dry air, but it's like I always knew when I was dehydrated, it's like, okay, cool, we're good. So,
Yeah, no, I can completely relate to that.
but so growing up in Arizona, who introduced you to music? Was it parents, something you kind of found on your own? What was that journey like?
I mean, though nobody in my family necessarily works in music, we definitely are a music loving family. So it was always around in the house. Whether we were out at the lake on the boat or just even doing work around the house, there was always music being played, country music in particular, which really drew me to the genre. So growing up with it, I listened to anything from, the classics of like Patsy Cline and that era of country music to obviously growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, those powerhouses and
Yeah.
that really fun era of country music was really like my bread and butter growing up. So that was really my introduction into the world of country. And then, of course, as I got into like my early preteen years and stuff, I started exploring different options with like school band and
Yeah.
choir and doing talent shows and whatnot, and really just kind of putting my feet in the water as far as performing with music goes and learning music and the industry as its whole. And I always like to dub it like the snowball effect. I
Yeah.
just kind of kept grabbing for those opportunities and learning experiences. And I can say I'm at where I am right now because of it all.
Nice. That's really cool because, I think lot of people tend to ignore opportunities if it isn't exactly what they want. Whereas you knew music was something you wanted to do, whether it was country music, whether it was more orchestral or band or, like whatever it was. So you were just kind of taking any opportunity to kind of exercise and figure out what specifically it was you wanted to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I always knew from a young age I loved the arts, the performing arts in particular, whether it was music or if it was something dance related or acting. I was always really intrigued and curious about learning more about the performing arts. And then as I got older, I kind of really leaned into the music side of things. So yeah, that's how all roads led to this moment right here.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, once you graduated high school, did you jump straight into playing music, or what was kind of the transition like out of school, I guess?
So I actually really started digging into my career as an independent artist during high school. I was very
Mhm.
lucky to have very supportive parents and family who were like, "Yeah, that's not crazy at all. Let's do it." So I was doing shows and stuff like that throughout my high school years. But as soon as I graduated, that's when I started doing my national tours. So I've been touring across the United States full time since 2016. I did, however, I will say, get my bachelor's degree in film and media studies while I was out on the road. So thank you, ASU Online, for
Mm.
being there for me. But yeah, it was truly one of those things that it's like as soon as I graduated, it was just full throttle out into doing it full time. And like I said, still doing school and getting my degree for those first couple years, but now that's the full time gig.
Right? That's really cool. And I wasn't sure when I wanted to bring up this story, but I ran across you back in about 2017, I want to say.
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
we just started Live and Amplified. We started like the end of 2015, right about the beginning of 2016. And it took like a year to kind of get outside of the New Mexico scene. Like we were doing like Roswell's where we were based out of. So we were going up to
Okay.
like Albuquerque down to El Paso, and that was kind of our go around route. And then we started getting introduced to people from Arizona. And so it's like, okay, let's start getting into those like Facebook groups. And then you started popping up. And
Yep.
it's like, okay, cool. And I just kind of followed you. And it was always one of those things where it's like, I'd love to have her on the podcast. And then the pandemic hit. And it was just like, okay, now everything's online. There's the opportunity. And I was just kind of waiting for the right opportunity. And here we
Yeah.
are, like 4 years
And here we
later.
are.
So,
It's funny. I always say things happen when they're supposed to. Even though at times we might like want to shake our heads and be like, gosh, why doesn't it happen now?
right.
I always think things pan out to happen when they're meant to. So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Glad to have you here. So we'll jump into your new single here in just a second, but you're currently on the road. You're preparing for your show in Colorado, and you got a nice little run in Colorado right now, right? Was I
Yeah,
reading that?
so this is week 2 for us of being in Colorado. So last week we were more like in the proper Denver
Yeah.
area and stuff, and now we're just a couple hours like northwest of Denver, hanging out in Craig, Colorado, if you want to be specific. They have a really cool festival going on this weekend called Whittle the Wood Rendezvous, and we were just there today checking out all the different like wood carvers and stuff,
Nice.
just going to town with chainsaws. And making some beautiful pieces of art. So we're really excited to be here for the weekend.
Nice. You look like you have so much fun on tour. I was watching one of your tour vlogs on Instagram, and I
Yes.
was just like, that looks like so much fun.
I always say, it's a work, but we like to sprinkle a little bit of with musicians, it can't be anything less than chaotic fun. In the meantime, you do things to entertain yourself, that's for sure.
For sure, for sure. So the one thing I did want to ask, what is the go-to road trip snack?
Ooh, ooh. It just depends on the day, honestly. If
Okay.
I'm looking for like a quick grab, something I don't have to think too hard about, I am a huge fan of the Skinny Pop popcorn. Is just something about it that just it tickles my brain. I love it. It's like my first grab if it's in the bus. But of course, I do try to like keep myself healthy and
Yeah.
not let myself have road diet trash. So we got easy to grab like vegetables and stuff
Mm,
like that too in the fridge. So if we stop long enough where it's safe to open the fridge, I go in there and make myself a little snack too. So
fair. Very fair. I wish I had a better resistance to the road trash diet because it's just like,
it's
well,
tempting sometimes.
yeah, it's just like that bag of popcorn. For me, it's I do also enjoy popcorn, but it's the new Cheetos cheese popcorn that's been out for a couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff is like
It's
crack. It
dangerous.
is so addictive. So, but it is what it is. But yeah, no, I saw it was looking through your vlog, and I saw you were one of the clips was you were at Walmart, and I was just sitting there looking into the cart. And I'm like,
Yeah.
huh, what are you guys eating down there? So,
Yeah, I think in that clip you could see like a big old bag of tortilla chips. Those always go really fast. You can't
yep,
keep those in a musician filled bus.
yeah,
But like I said, we do a mixture of healthy things.
yeah.
And there's some vices sprinkled in
Fair.
there for sure. Yeah.
That's cool. So currently on tour, and you just released a new single May 24th, right? It's coming up on a
Yeah,
month.
I
Crank it up.
know.
How's the reception been?
It's been really good. We just dropped the music video less than a week ago from today. So it's got, thousands of views and everything, and the song's been doing well. I'm so grateful to everybody who's added it to their playlist, who's been streaming the music video, all sorts of good stuff. It's been fun to watch everybody as well respond to Crank It Up at shows too, because it's such a rockin' tune
Mhm.
I feel like it's got that anthem energy to get people going. So it's been really fun to see people respond to that in the live setting, as well as, of course, read all the comments and stuff from people online.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely an attention grabber. It made my drive. I was listening to it on my way home, just kind of to refresh my memory and whatnot. And I'm
Yeah.
sitting there, I'm like, I completely forgot that I was just sitting in traffic. And I live in Central Texas. There shouldn't be traffic. And I'm just sitting there like 20 cars deep off an intersection. And it's like, and then that song came on, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, sweet. Let's
Oh,
get it.
good.
So,
It
but
makes my day to hear that. That's the type of reception and energy that I want.
nice. And so then you also mentioned that you dropped a music video for it. Is that something that you try and do with all your releases, or is this something a little bit newer for you?
No, as long as the schedule permits, I love to try to give every single that we release some sort of video. How complex are those depends on just
Okay.
the song and obviously like all the other things that are happening around it. But with Crank It Up, we were able to do, I think, a video that does the song a lot of justice. It was a ton of fun. I am so grateful for my team who helped me put it together. It's probably the first action type music video that we've really done. If you watch it, we got like motorcycle stunt riders. We were driving around in side by sides. It was all shot in Arizona at Arizona Cycle Park, which is down in Buckeye. And we just had a blast, honestly. Everybody was so wonderful. And we just truly got to go full throttle on everything, which made it really fun. My directing team was like, how often do we get to shoot an action-based music video?
Right.
Like never. So everybody had a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's really, it's always cool when you kind of get the opportunity to do something that you love doing, but then it's extra fun because it's not something that you always get to do, if that makes any
Yes,
kind of sense.
it does.
So, oh, but no, that's great. I will have to sit down and watch the music video. I hadn't had a chance to watch it yet. Um, so kind of looking forward, obviously you're in the middle of a bit of a tour right now. How long are you on the road for?
Well, I keep getting shows added onto my schedule. So right now we're definitely through September with I think there's been some smatterings of stuff added in October.
Mhm.
So however we started at the beginning of May, what does that make that? About five-ish months?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's and that's a grind, but you seem to enjoy it. It seems like you got a good crew with you, and you make it as fun as it can be being on the road.
Yeah, we always laugh. It's like you're either for the road life or you're
Yeah.
not for the road life. There's nobody who's really ever lukewarm about it. But no, everybody in here really loves the road, loves what we're doing and stuff, which makes it a lot of fun.
Mm.
Especially I think for the fans, because we get to just produce some really out there and fun kind of
Yeah,
content. Everybody's got really fun and different personalities on top of course, showcasing all the music and the shows that we're at and stuff too. So it's been fun to blend both worlds together.
for sure, for sure. I tend to love the road, but being on the road for 5 months, I've never done that, so I don't know where my head would be at the end of those 5 months. So,
Yeah, no, it definitely requires a good support system, but also just a good bus full of people. I don't think
mhm,
everybody realizes, especially for us, bus is our primary form of transportation. So just imagine living with, at our point, four other people outside of yourself in a space that's about as big as most people's apartments.
mhm,
So
for sure, for sure.
yeah.
So with Crank It Up out now, what's kind of the release strategy moving forward? Are you already looking at the next song, or are you kind of trying to figure that out right now?
No, we're absolutely already in the planning phase for the next single. I don't currently have a proper release date that I can share. I
Yeah,
just tell everybody that it will be coming out while we are still out on tour. So that kind of
nice.
gives you a time frame of
Yep.
what you're looking at. But we're definitely looking at it. And I will say, if you've really loved Crank It Up, this next song that we got for you guys, it's similar in style and stuff, but different message and some different tones and stuff in there too that Crank It Up does not have. So I'm really excited for everybody to engage with this music. That's kind of been the fun part about this particular project that we're doing with Marty Fredrickson out of Nashville. Is it's so very different. It's a new era of like sound for me and just things that we're exploring. So I'm really excited for everybody to hear it all.
Nice, nice. It's so I take it from that answer, it's a brand new song nobody's ever heard, even played live.
Well, I will say wink and nudge for some of the folks who have been out to see us on the road
Okay.
already. You've already gotten a sneak peek preview of what it is.
Okay.
But for those who have not, you do not know it. You have not heard it.
Okay.
But I look forward to the day that you will, which is coming very soon.
Sick, sick. I had to ask the safest questions I could because it's like, okay, these are pretty safe because it's open-ended enough that they can answer it how they want to answer it. So,
I appreciate that. I know. I always tell my fans, I'm like, I'm notorious for, especially when it gets close to announcing release dates and stuff, to just want to drop more information
yeah,
than I should. And then my team's like, stop telling people things
right.
before we're ready.
Right. I had somebody reach out to, or had somebody on the podcast a while back, and I just curiously asked them a question about the upcoming song, and they went into a whole spiel about the song that wasn't ready to be divulged yet. And I got a call from their PR agent, was like, "Hey, can you like hold this podcast for like 3 weeks?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're fine. Like, it's not a big
Yeah.
deal."
You're
So
like, I get it.
I'll take down the video because the video was already up, but
Right.
it was whatever. So that's cool.
Yeah. Hey, it happens. We get so
Yeah,
excited to talk about it that it just all comes out sometimes.
right, right. So being that you're on the road right now, what do you like to do when you have downtime? Just like when you're out on tour and you got downtime, what do you like to do?
Yeah. So I always try to squeeze in the stuff that, never gets when we're like in working hours. Physical fitness is something that's always really important to me, especially living on the tour bus. There are
Okay.
some days that you're like, have I even been outside or walked around a lot? So I always like to try to get out every day and do some sort of like workout or, long walk to get me out, to get me moving, keep me healthy. But outside of that, I enjoy resting, honestly. So like my chill hobbies, I got my knitting project with me
Nice.
that I'll sit back and do. But um, us musicians, we love our Nintendo Switches as well. So we'll game and stuff too on the bus. It just depends on the day.
Nice. Nice. I love that the Nintendo Switch has come in clutch to so many people. It's
It is.
I've never played it. Like I haven't played like modern video games in a little bit, but everybody keeps telling me if you're gonna jump back in, get the Switch. The Switch is the move. So,
Hey, I can't complain. I love mine. It's small, it's portable,
mm,
there's some great games on it. And of course, like in our case, if you have others, you can play with a bunch of other
yeah,
people. So it all works out.
nice. That's awesome. So I don't want to keep you too much longer here. Really appreciate your time. If anybody wants to check out your music or shows, interact with you on social, any of that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
So I always say the best if you want like a one-stop shop for all the things is to go to my website, ashleywineland.com. It's got all the direct links to social media. It's got the tour schedule and all the music links, all that sort of good stuff if you want to check that out. Or of course, if you're trying to find me on any particular social media platform, if you just type in Ashley Wineland Music, you're gonna find me. All platforms except for TikTok right now have blue verification check marks next to my usernames because scammers are awful and abundant. So make sure that when you are going to go follow on social media, you look for that. But yeah, those are all the best places you can find me. Of course, if you like to stream music too, all my music's available on all the major platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube, you name it, it's on there. So
Nice.
you can go add it to your playlist or radio stations, whichever you prefer.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time. The one final question I have for you is what's one piece of advice you have for the young musicians out there?
Ooh. See, and there's so much that I can impart upon that I wish I would have known. I think the biggest thing, and probably I know for me, one of the hardest things has always been to practice patience. And a lot of times there's things that you want to come like right now, or you don't understand why things aren't working out quite the way you want them to which I will always say, and I have to remind myself of it a lot, is that patience will always prove right in the end. You will work things out, you'll get through it, stuff will come to show, that it was going to work out this way for particular reasons. So that's probably the biggest one that I have. And if it's something that you really care about and you're really passionate about, the best thing to do is just to keep your head down, keep working, keep learning, take every opportunity you can to meet people and learn, and you'll get to where you want to go.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I was absolutely. That's all I got to say about that one. But really appreciate your time. I hope you have
Thank you.
a safe rest of your tour and enjoy Colorado and enjoy the. Are you playing the same festival all weekend? Is that kind of what's your upcoming shows or
Yeah, so
stops?
for this weekend in Colorado, June 21st and the 22nd, we're at a venue called JW's. That's in Craig, Colorado. So it's a whole town celebration for this Wood of the Wood rendezvous going on. So there's like the stuff happening at the like park grounds. And then we have shows at the venues after, all that stuff gets done for the day. And then of course, like coming up, we got a bunch of fairs, festivals, street dances that we're a part of too. So for my friends in the Midwest, keep your eyes out. If you're going to Cheyenne Frontier Days, we will be there at the Outlaw
Yes.
Saloon for the after party. We're headlining a couple shows out there, as well as opening up for acts like Sawyer Brown and Jody Messina throughout the summer. So wherever you might be in the world, take a look at our calendar and see if there's a show near you that you want to come out to.
Awesome. Awesome. I will have to see if any of my travels intersect with any of your shows because I'll be
Yeah.
going from Texas to Chicago a whole bunch this summer. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, then there might be a chance that we cross paths. Definitely keep an
Nice.
eye out on that one.
Yeah, for sure. But once again, I really appreciate your time. Hope you have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your trip. Safe travels, all that fun stuff. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will catch you all later.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yep. Awesome.